It was supposed to be a lighthearted sit-down, filled with laughter, music, and stories from the road. But the atmosphere on the Jennifer Hudson show took a sharp turn when country superstar Luke Bryan joined Jennifer on stage. At first, things were smooth. Luke cracked a few of his trademark jokes. Jennifer chimed in with her infectious laughter, and the audience was eating it up. But when Jennifer brought up a controversial topic surrounding Luke's outspoken comments on country, music's direction, and his critics in the industry, his smile tightened. The audience sensed the mood shift instantly, and the energy in the room began to hum with tension. Jennifer pressed further, asking whether Luke thought his recent remarks about authenticity in country music were digs at younger artists, some of whom he'd mentored on American Idol. Luke leaned forward in his chair, his voice firm but tinged with irritation, saying, "I'm tired of people twisting my words. I've spent my life building this genre up. If people are offended by me telling the truth, that's their problem, not mine." The crowd let out a mix of gasps and awkward applause while Jennifer tried to steer the conversation back toward neutral ground, but it was too late. The fire had already been lit. Jennifer, never one to back down, responded with her signature candor. "But Luke, when you say things like that on camera, don't you think it sends a message that maybe you're shutting out the new voices trying to make their way?" Her tone wasn't hostile, but the question stung. Luke's jaw clenched as he fired back, "I've opened more doors for new voices than most people in this business. Don't sit here and act like I'm some gatekeeper. I've been mentoring kids on Idol for years, giving them the stage I had to fight for." The tension was so thick the studio audience shifted uneasily in their seats, unsure if they should cheer or stay silent. Instead of cooling off, the conversation escalated. Jennifer, her voice calm but edged with firmness, said, "You can mentor, but at the same time, Luke, words matter. People look up to you." Luke interrupted her, raising his voice. "Don't lecture me on what matters. I know the responsibility I carry, but I won't sugarcoat things just to please critics who don't know the first thing about country music." His words drew a collective gasp from the crowd, and Jennifer's eyes widened slightly at the sharpness of his retort. Trying to bring humor back, Jennifer chuckled nervously and said, "Well, I think the first thing about country music is loving your neighbor, right?" The audience laughed, but Luke didn't crack a smile. He leaned back, visibly frustrated, muttering, "See? This is exactly why I don't like doing these shows. People twist everything into a soundbite." That statement sent the audience into a stunned hush. Jennifer tried to interject, but Luke had already shifted in his chair, his discomfort written all over his face. By now, the air was electric, with the crowd whispering and waiting to see what would happen next. Jennifer, attempting to salvage the moment, told him, "Luke, you're a guest here, and I truly respect what you've accomplished. But when people question you, it's not about tearing you down, it's about understanding your heart." That line softened some of the tension, but Luke wasn't buying it. He shook his head and replied, "No, it feels like being cornered, and I've had enough of that." Suddenly, Luke stood up from his chair, pulling his mic off in one sharp motion. The studio audience gasped loudly, several rising to their feet in disbelief. Jennifer, stunned, tried to stop him. "Luke, wait, don't go," but Luke, visibly angry, simply shook his head, muttering something under his breath that was drowned out by the noise of the audience. He turned and strode off stage, leaving Jennifer frozen in her chair and the cameras scrambling to cut to a commercial break. The aftermath was immediate. As the screen faded to black, the audience erupted into chatter, with some people booing Luke's dramatic exit and others clapping, as if they had just witnessed history. Jennifer, once the cameras returned, handled it with grace, addressing the audience directly. "Well, y'all, sometimes conversations get a little too real, but that's life. We keep moving." The audience applauded, but the shock of what they had witnessed lingered heavily in the room. Within hours, clips of Luke's walk-off flooded social media. On Twitter, hashtags like #LukeVSJHUD and #LukeWalksOff began trending, with fans fiercely divided. Some defended Luke, praising him for standing his ground, while others criticized him for being disrespectful to Jennifer, who had only been doing her job. Think pieces appeared almost instantly, dissecting whether the confrontation was a clash of egos, a cultural misunderstanding, or simply the result of live TV pushing too far asterisk by the next morning, major entertainment outlets were covering the story non-stop. TMZ aired slowed-down clips of Luke ripping off his mic, while talk radio debated whether he had damaged his brand as a good old boy of country music. Jennifer herself addressed the drama again at the start of her next episode, saying, diplomatically, "I hope Luke knows he's always welcome back here. But sometimes, the truth is a little too heavy for daytime television." Her words, calm but cutting, only fueled the fire further, making the confrontation one of the most talked-about celebrity clashes of the year. Backstage, after storming off, Luke Bryan was visibly shaken, pacing with his phone in hand while his team tried to calm him down. Producers of the Jennifer Hudson show rushed over, begging him to at least do a brief off-air apology for the audience. But Luke waved them off angrily, saying, "I'm not apologizing for telling the truth. If people can't handle it, that's on them." His publicist, clearly panicking, whispered urgently that walking off live television would dominate headlines and could overshadow his upcoming tour launch. Luke, however, was still fuming, muttering about how city folks don't understand what country really is. Meanwhile, Jennifer stayed on stage during the commercial break, reassuring the audience with her signature grace. She encouraged them to stay calm and promised they'd continue with the show. Once the cameras were back on, she even sang a quick gospel riff to lighten the mood, which brought cheers and laughter from the studio. But deep down, Jennifer was frustrated. She had been trying to give Luke the space to explain himself, yet he took it as an attack. As the segment wrapped, she promised the viewers watching at home, "We'll let Luke have his piece, and we'll have ours too." The subtle shade didn't go unnoticed. Asterisk, by that evening, social media was ablaze. Clips of the confrontation were edited with dramatic music, and TikTok users replayed the moment Luke tore off his mic, adding captions like, "When you can't handle the heat," and "Luke versus J.H. Hood, round 1. Fans on both sides were battling it out in the comments. Luke's loyal country base defended him, saying Jennifer was baiting him, while Jennifer's fans praised her poise and accused Luke of being thin-skinned. Even celebrities chimed in. One country artist tweeted, "This is why I never do talk shows. Y'all turn everything into drama." Country radio stations quickly picked up the story, with morning hosts debating whether Luke's walk-off was justified or an overreaction. One station played Luke's recent single right after reporting the incident, joking, "Well, at least he didn't storm out of the recording booth." Over on daytime TV, rival talk shows began dissecting the drama, with panelists arguing over who was right. Some claimed Jennifer pushed too hard, while others said Luke's outburst revealed a fragile ego. The buzz was so intense that Luke's PR team scrambled to draft an official statement, but Luke resisted, not wanting to look like he was backtracking. Asterisk, the pressure mounted when Luke arrived at his next concert stop. Fans were holding up signs that read, "We love you." Luke alongside others, mocking him with, "Don't walk off the stage too." During his performance, Luke briefly addressed the situation, telling the crowd, "Y'all saw what happened. Sometimes I speak my truth and people don't like it, but I'm always going to keep it real." The audience cheered, but the viral drama continued to overshadow the music, with news outlets focusing more on his comments than his set list. Asterisk, Jennifer, on the other hand, used her platform to subtly address the situation again. At the start of her next show, she told viewers, "I believe conversations can be tough, but they can also be healing. If someone doesn't want to have that conversation, that's their choice. But here, we keep it respectful." The audience erupted in applause, interpreting her words as a gentle but firm clapback to Luke. Later in the episode, Jennifer even joked with another guest, "Please don't storm off. I've had enough of that this week," sending the crowd into laughter. The media frenzy only grew when insiders leaked that producers of the Jennifer Hudson show were considering whether to invite Luke back for a makeup interview to patch things up. Jennifer was reportedly open to the idea, but Luke's camp was divided. Some saw it as an opportunity to repair his image, while others feared it would just stir the pot again. Entertainment blogs speculated endlessly, posting polls like "Should Luke Bryan return to Jennifer Hudson's show?", which received millions of votes. Asterisk, as didn't.